Dun, 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 dun. Wait a minute. Liam, is your last name Gallagher?
Yes, it is.
You probably know where I'm going with this one.
Yes, I do. Because I've had it for 26 years. No, we're not related. My brother's not called Noel. My parents are not Oasis fans. Any other questions?
That's the wrong answer. It turns out that Cottonmouth is the Liam Gallagher's main project. Oasis is just kind of like a side thing that he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine that. It's kind of like it's escaped me for the particular moment, but Slipknot and the singer's other band. It's probably one of those things. Sweet. All right. Well, hello, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Podcast. I am your host, John Harris. Today on the Rock and Roll Podcast, we have Cottonmouth out of the UK, not the one out of Southern America or the deep south of America, I guess. I had a hard time finding your guys' band because there's one out of like Virginia that is called Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
There's a rapper in South Africa or something as well, I think, called Cottonmouth.
Oh,
there's a few of them knocking around.
Oh no! Well, this is why you guys are here. We can blow them out of the water. And Cottonmouth has got some new singles they've been kicking out lately. They have an EP that's due out early 2021 that we're going to chat about, as well as some other exciting news. So Jack and Liam are going to be here to share what Cottonmouth has been up to. So boys, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely great to have you on. Now, one of the first things I guess I wanted to chat about is you guys have an EP that's due out early 2021. You guys are releasing some singles. Take us through this marketing plan. Are these songs like Made of Stone, Destroyer, Hollow? Are you guys dripping the EP to us, or are you guys going to smack us with like 4 or 5 brand new songs like February, March, or whatever in 2021?
So you're absolutely right. We are drip feeding it a little bit. As you know, a lot of people might be listening when you're starting a band up, when you're starting afresh, which we are. We haven't got an EP out yet, so this will be our debut. And you want to keep the ball going. You want to keep things fresh and keep things new. So the singles that are currently out will feature on the EP. And then when we do release the EP early 2021, there'll be maybe a couple of surprises. There'll be some things that people haven't heard before. But it'd be really nice to package up what we've kind of been working on over the last couple of years in terms of the singles that you've just mentioned that we've got out there.
Cool. Yeah, I guess my next question is why take so long to release the EP?
It's always difficult. Never mind the current world circumstances that we're in at the moment, but trying to get a band up and going from scratch. You've got to get the members all together. We've been through a couple of kind of band member changes over the last few years, and that always brings a different dynamic into the band. So potentially, the first couple of songs that you write, which we probably could have had an EP out by now, but like I said, with band member changes, the dynamic changes, and the music that you're actually creating, it takes a new form, and you're kind of finding your sound, you're finding your tone, you're finding what you want to write about. So I think for us, and hopefully Liam, you agree, it's a case where our sound has developed so much that now we're in a position where we've got this really solid, tight lineup. We all gel really well, the 4 of us. We're all really good friends. We've known each other for years now, and it just feels like the right time to kind of say, right, here's our sound. Here's what Cottonmouth's all about. Here's an EP that actually reflects our music and something that we're all really proud of. What do you think, Liam?
I completely agree. And one thing I've noticed, well, not sort of through experience, I guess, but a lot of bands will do things like EPs too early. They'll go straight into stuff like that without singles, without sort of being known, so to speak. And like with us sort of playing a few local gigs, getting a few singles out, getting them played, I think that gets you that little bit of exposure. So then you've got a bit of a springboard behind you to sort of do an EP rather than just going, here's a bit of music. Like people just can pick it up and go, well, these guys haven't been about, it might just be rubbish. Like
that's it. I mean,
take that time. And like if we'd have put it out with the first version of the singles compared to how we play them now, it's just evolved to a point where we're happy with it and we can put it out better rather than just, oh, here's just we've played this for the first time, we're happy with it. It's evolved, and I think that'll be reflected when we bring it out.
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess my next question is, you guys mentioned lineup changes, that changes the dynamic, it changes what you guys want to write about. So in this current crystallization that we have of Cottonmouth, what is that dynamic? What are you guys writing about? And tantamount to that, what is it about this current lineup that works?
I think it's just a bit of everything. So we've all got a different taste, and we've all got something that we bring to the table, but it all melds quite well. So Dale, the lead guitarist, is very, very technical. He's very trained. He's got sort of the Dream Theater sort of vibes, like what are the bands? I can't think off the top of my head, Jack.
Your Opeth, your progressive, yeah. But then also that kind of like hair metal vibe.
Exactly.
He loves his old classic rock. He loves his hair metal. He loves his glam. And he brings that kind of element into it. That
discipline and that technical side, yeah.
That's it. It probably doesn't shine too much through in the songs, but when you actually know the guy, it really comes through. But I think for myself personally, and there's a lot of musicians out there that have been in and out of bands, they've been in and out of lineups, and you end up kind of looking back and going, do you know what? I really wish I had that guy at this time, and I really wish I had that guy in this band. And for me, the band that I'm in, the band that we're in now, in Cottonmouth, is the drummer I've known since we were in school, the guitarist Dale. We've done a few projects ourselves, but I've never been in a band like this. And we always talked about getting in a band, and now we're in a position where actually every member of the band is, if I could go around and handpick people, these would be the people I would handpick. These are the people that I bring together to do a project, and that for me as a songwriter, and for someone that kind of puts lyrics together and song ideas and writing about particular ththings, is really important. You want to feel like everyone's a part of it. You want to feel like all the people around you are supportive of that, and they're all putting their ideas in. Otherwise, you don't want to feel like you're doing it on your own.
Definitely.
Okay, very cool. Now let's chat about these tracks then. We've got Made of Stone, which is a lyric video, Destroyer, which has got an audio video, and then the latest that has been leaked across my desk is Hollow. And by the time that this interview airs, there will also be a music video in some capacity available for that track. So take us through this EP. How many tracks are there? How many tracks have we listened to 75% of the EP, or is there more to come?
I'd say, I'm trying to do the maths here, but we're probably close on to 75%. Like me and Liam was saying, it's been really important to drip feed these singles out and get them out there and get on the gigging circuit and show promoters that we've got some tunes to play. So estimates right now, I'd say that it's going to be a 5-song EP. So we've heard the 4 songs from there, which is Made of Stone, Destroyer, Hollow, and Skin and Bone, which is the earliest one. And then there'll be a brand new single that will then come out with the EP. So there'll be 5 that will come out when it comes out in 2021.
Okay, they mentioned the gigging circuit in there. Talk to us about the gigging circuit this year, how that's affected Cottonmouth's plans. Have you guys turned coronavirus into a blessing?
Definitely, I guess. It's allowed us to sort of take a step back and focus on sort of our sound and getting that right, and riffs and recording, because we did go through quite a point just over the spring and the summer where we had quite a few gigs, so we weren't maybe experimenting as much. We were doing more of the practicing and the planning, and so it's allowed us to sort of take that step back and focus on the sort of recorded side and the studio side of things. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more, actually. When you are on the gigging circuit, and going back to your original question, why is it taking so long to get the EP out, is when you're in a band, all you want to do is go out and play. You want to hit the bubs, you want to get some followers, you want to get some fans. And when you're focusing on really getting a tight live set and bringing that element of a live show to it, sometimes the songwriting takes a little bit of a back step. If you're going into the studio a couple of times a week or whatever you're doing to practice, you end up going, but we've got a gig soon, so we need to make sure that our live set's tight so the new songs don't come out quite as easily. To answer that about how we're coping at the moment, it has been a little bit of a blessing, actually, in terms of songwriting. I think we're writing songs better and quicker than we ever have before. And the advantage of that is you can actually take your time to write these songs. Hollow was written during lockdown. We had the riff prior, but it was written mainly sending riffs over, Dropbox or WeTransfer, whatever you use, writing at home, sending the riffs around, so that you can then really develop, the guitarist can come up with some really cool harmonies. I can spend some time really focusing on what I want to, the melodies I want to sing over the top. And Dale had loads of time to practice the solo rather than just kind of like smashing the solo out in the practice room. So I think we've tried to use it as best as we possibly can.
Okay, very cool. Now, take us through these tracks, Made of Stone, Destroyer. Can you destroy something that's made of stone? What are these tracks about? I know earlier on you guys were saying you wanted to find what you wanted to write about. So take us through these tracks, Made of Stone, Destroyer, Hollow. Is there a common theme to the EP? What is the EP about?
It's a very good question. Lyrically, I just kind of write lyrics that kind of come to mind. And actually, my partner, Kerry, she helps me out quite a lot with the lyrics. I think it's always good to have someone to bounce off. And sometimes it's even better to have someone that's not, fully invested in the band to bounce off and kind of throw ideas around. And when it's your partner, you got full trust in each other and you can have open conversations without feeling nervous about saying anything. So, Destroyers, it's kind of about, a bit of an obeying kind of thing. It's about that kind of hierarchy of society, so to speak, without getting too political. It's defying your destroyer. Is the destroyer someone that takes governance rather than, someone that does destroy from an obvious point of view? Made of Stone is probably one of our more ballady kind of songs, would you say, Liam?
Yeah, definitely.
It's got a little bit of a slower pace. And that line, I'm no longer made of stone, just really kind of resonated with me. And in terms of, you can kind of come across as, a solid kind of item, or, a rock face or whatever you want to see that as, and you can almost say, well, I'm no longer made of stone. I can no longer take whatever it is you're throwing at me. So maybe it's a case of maybe subliminally, I haven't even thought about it, but when you start talking out loud, you think Destroy is about the hierarchy. And then, you go, well, I can't take this anymore. I'm no longer made of stone.
It's like an admission of vulnerability, isn't it? I guess that's what it feels like.
That is it, and it's a much kind of it's a softer song in the chorus. I think it's a little bit more emotional, to me anyway. And every time we kind of perform that live, it does kind of still give me that feeling of it being kind of emotional and things like that. And then when we went on to Hollow, again, it kind of went back to that Destroyer theme. It's a heavier song. It's almost like the Vengeance. You've gone through Destroyer, everything's angry. You've gone through Made of Stone of kind of, not being able to take it anymore. And then you go, do you know what? I've been in lockdown and I've seen you're all hollow. And if you look into the lyrics and things like that, you can kind of see that, you can see that everything's hollow and don't take everything for granted.
Yeah, just sort of like how to word it. It's like you just sort of not silent as such, like it's just frustrating and like you're just letting out the frustration that there's not a lot you can do or say. I guess that's what it means for me.
Yeah.
Fantastic, boys. So it sounds like the situation this year has actually crept into the development of the EP.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, how can it not?
Well, it's funny because, I've chatted with obviously a lot of bands during this time, and even though bands have had to push releases out, they've kind of just locked the writing in place and said, no, we wrote it, we recorded it, it's just been sitting there, and now we're finally releasing it, in October instead of in May or whatever. But this is an instance where you guys are keeping it open and fresh.
Yeah.
Are you guys recording each song as it comes along and going into the studio as best as possible? Or how do you guys keep it fresh?
That's exactly it. We recorded Hollow in August, and the riffs came out in March. As soon as we dropped off, we had gigs booked, throughout March, April, May, June, July, and then festivals come up and things like that. So we didn't really, we knew we wanted to release a new song, but we didn't know what it would be like, and we didn't know where it would come from. And then as soon as you put it into lockdown and you start jamming, at home and things like that. So literally Hollow is a pure lockdown song. It's something that's come out of fresh. Yes, we might have had the riff prior and we might have had a few ideas knocking around, but it was practiced in lockdown, it was written in lockdown, and it was recorded during lockdown. And that's how we've always done things. We might have a few songs on kind of ongoing, a few songs in the works, and then we'll go, do you know what, this one feels really good to us. We need to get in the studio and get this down. And to keep ourselves fresh and to keep ourselves current, you can't wait 2 years and then put a release out. You need to keep it going every few months, in my opinion, anyway. You need to keep on something coming out in this day and age, especially during lockdown, when you can't go out with a 6-track EP and gig it for a year, because we don't have that opportunity right now.
Yeah, no, you bring up a lot of really good points. And I guess my next question is, you guys said you went into the studio in August. Is that something that was possible, or how did you guys make that work?
Yeah, we went into the studio. I'll tell you what, I'll let Liam answer this.
Yeah, we were very lucky, to be fair, that once things started to lift a little bit, a good friend of ours, Hamish, down in a sort of called Mansfield, just up from us in Nottingham, there's a studio called Phoenix. He knows us, he knows our sound, he knows what we like. He had all the provisions in place. He's been advertising it. He's been getting it prepped. So he was able to accommodate us for the single, and it's always a fantastic experience. And we've just noticed that on the subject of bringing the singles out bit by bit, we've done all of it with Hamish, and it's sort of our sound's kind of evolved with him as well. So he knows us. So I think it works great for both sides then as well. So I think it's certainly been a really, really sort of smooth experience, sort of recording and doing it all.
Yeah, a little bit different trying to keep it COVID secure and all the rest of it, but it was still a really good experience that we, and we wanted to make sure that, we're the bands and things like that, but recording studios and stuff were also suffering. So I think it was also really important to us to make sure that, we were going out and and going to studios and trying to give over our hard-earned cash so that they could keep afloat as well.
Yeah. There's something else that came across my desk was in July, you guys joined a management team for JMP. Now, kind of an interesting time to sign a management contract. So I guess take us through that. How did that happen?
So, we've got obviously, after the years of being in the music scene, you end up getting friends. And one of the bands on Forge's roster is a band called Blitz, which I will give a shout out. If you haven't checked out Blitz, do, because they're a great classic rock band. They're a really good band, Blitz are. And I've known the guitarist Kev for years. He used to work down at the practice studio that we still go to, to this day. So I've known him for probably close on to 10 years now. And he's always helped me. He's recorded previous bands. I've supported his gigs, and he's done the same to me. And he just reached out to me, one day. He got signed onto the same roster, probably, I don't know, might have been a year, might have been 18 months prior to us, not 100% sure on that. But he reached out to me and he said, look, I can see Cottonmouth going the right way. I can see you guys working hard. Do you want me to put you forward, for the management? So he basically kind of brokered the deal, so to speak. He introduced us to John, who's the managing director of 4JMP. Me and Liam jumped on a call with John, and we kind of discussed, the ins and outs of how it would work, and it suited what we wanted to do. Our kind of plan suited what theirs would be for us, and it just fit really well. And then without them, we wouldn't be on this call right now with you. Forge then puts us in touch with Dunk at Plug Play and Promote. And the next thing you know, we're on an interview with you guys. So
good old Dunk.
Good old Dunk, yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, big shout out to Dunk. If he's listening in, he'd better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's done us a big solid. He's super supportive. We can ask him questions and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to Dunk at Plug Play and Pro.
Beautiful. All right, well, boys, that concludes all of my questions. Unless there's anything else you wanted to chat about, I wanted to thank you for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today.
That's great. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. The only thing I'd say is I'm jealous of your hockey over in Canada.
Well, thank you, sir.
Our whole season's been cancelled this year, so I've been tuning into the Stanley Cup and all that kind of stuff. So very jealous of you guys being able to play hockey still.
Hub City right here in Edmonton, except our Oilers completely ruined that.
Well, you still got to host the Stanley Cup, right? Well, half of it.
Yeah. You're right. Beautiful. Thanks, boys.
That's
hey, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. See you later.